Today is a very important day. For those who do not know it, by sheer coincidence, if you will, today marks the 18th anniversary of the passing of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. And what I will say to people as we begin this program, to be crystal clear, from Congressman Parren J. Mitchell to Governor Westmore is part of the legacy that we're celebrating this afternoon. We are fortunate, those of us who live in Maryland and the nation, and indeed the world, to have had a man, those of us who knew him personally, affectionately called PJ. In a moment, we're going to be presented with the colors, which will start the formal program. But before doing that, I would ask people to pause just for this moment. Earlier this week, Memorial Day to be precise, another great legend from New York City by the name of Charlie Rangel, who was very good friends with Congressman Mitchell, passed. So before we get started, I want to just take a moment of having silence in the memory of Congressman Mitchell and Congressman Rangel. A moment of silence, please. Thank you so much. The presenting of the colors.
Oh, say, can you see, set by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
I think you may be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Mihi Kim Court. I bring greetings on behalf of First Presbyterian Church of Annapolis. It is an honor and a joy to be among you today, standing alongside so many community members and leaders to remember the life and legacy of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. We celebrate the ongoing impact of his life on this community and world with gratitude, with reverence, and with renewed responsibility. As people of hope, we are called not only to listen to or to hold up history, but to live into its challenge, to bear witness to truth, to stand in solidarity with the oppressed, and to keep building toward a just and peaceful future. At our church, just above the main doors of the sanctuary, so that as you leave, they guide your steps beyond, are these words from the prophet Micah. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? May today be a testament to that ongoing call, and may this time deepen our commitment to one another and to the work that still lies ahead. Let us join together in prayer. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God of covenant and promise, you who formed us in your image and called us good, you who have journeyed with your people through wilderness and exile, through bondage and breakthrough, we come before you today with hearts full of memory and hope. We honor your servant, Parren J. Mitchell, a change maker, a truth teller, a bridge builder, whose life bore witness to the possibility of beloved community. We remember a man who did not wait for justice to come, but worked and walked and marched until it had to listen. He believed in democracy not only as structure, but as sacred trust, a calling to lift up the lowly, to challenge the powerful, to make room at the table for all your children. God of every generation, as members of many churches and families and neighborhoods and legacies, we ask your blessing on this gathering. By your Spirit, make us one, not in sameness, but in shared purpose, not in silence, but in song, not in comfort, but in commitment. In a world still cracked by racism, still split by suspicion, still ruled by fear, let this moment be a witness that you are not done with us yet. And so make us bold like the prophets, grounded like the psalmists, faithful like the saints who came before. May the legacy we remember today stir us not just to remembrance, but to movement toward your peace, toward your justice, your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Ever faithful God, as your called people, we trust that you are always leading us into new life, calling us again and again to see, to act, to love. So take our remembering, O God, and shape it into resolve. Take this gathering and shape it into community. Take our prayers and shape them into lives of witness. We offer this prayer in the spirit of the one who breaks down dividing walls, who sets captives free, and who calls all of us into justice, mercy, and peace, trusting in the holy presence that goes by many names and is always at work in the world. And let all God's children say, Amen.
We're going to be hearing some comments from a series of elected officials. And our governor just arrived. Let's give him a round of applause. My governor, our governor. Love this man. Let's give another round of applause to the first family of the state of Maryland. Now to bring the welcome on behalf of this great city, the city of Annapolis, a city that was founded in 1649, got its charter in 1708, and a man who was never an Annapolitan who came this way, Kunta Kinte, who came to Annapolis in 1767. What makes Annapolis special is because if you know the history, a general named George Washington in uniform went to the State House to resign from the Continental Congress. And yet another man by the name of Kunta Kinte was not in uniform, but in chains. The person I'm about to introduce understood that history. And when he ran for mayor, he said, "One Annapolis." And Annapolitans did something that has not been done in 50 years. They re-elected the next speaker by the largest margin than any mayor in the last 50 years. Please welcome to the podium the Honorable Gavin Buckley, Mayor of the City of Annapolis.
Wow, what an event. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, can we give it up for the people behind the scenes that have made this event happen today? So much work went into this. Thank you for coming to the best recreation center in Maryland with the best recreation team in Maryland. Let's hear it for those guys. Thank you. So, because there's a lot of politicians here, I've been scripted to 3 minutes. So good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today with so many distinguished guests. To our Governor and First Lady, welcome and thank you for being with us today. Welcome, and I would also like to acknowledge our federal and state elected officials and welcome them. The commissioners for the African American History and Culture, representatives from the Banneker Douglas Tubman Museum, county and city elected officials, and representatives, members of the MLK Junior Committee and Caucus of African American Leaders, the generous sponsors of this memorial, and above all, members of the Mitchell family. We are honored to host you all here today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do for our community, and to all you do to ensure the legacy of Congressman Mitchell. It lives on here today. Thank you. We are gathered here, of course, for a truly historic moment, the unveiling of a memorial to the late, great Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. The city of Annapolis, as the capital of the great state of Maryland, is proud to lead the way in honoring this great American hero and this great son of Maryland. I do wish we hadn't been rained out today, but this memorial will be here for generations. We simply have to make an individual commitment to admire it in person when the weather is more cooperative. You're going to hear a lot of speakers today, rightly so, about Congressman Mitchell's national legacy and leadership. You'll learn about his place in history as Maryland's first African-American member of Congress. But I want to talk about something just as important, how his story is rooted in the fabric of community. Because Congressman Mitchell's legacy isn't just national, it's local. Former House Speaker Tip O'Neill has a famous and often quoted saying that all politics is local. Intertwined with the very name of this building, Pip Moyer, Parren Mitchell's story is about when national politics gets local. Back in the 1960s, Parren Mitchell's nephew, was arrested here in Annapolis at a sit-in protest against segregation. It was Mayor Pip Roger Moyer, yes, a white mayor during a deeply divided time, who personally went to jail and posted bail for the Mitchell family member. That act wasn't just a favor, it was a sign. A sign in Annapolis. Progress wasn't something to watch on TV. It was something that required action. That action could be quiet or it could be outrageously courageous. Pip Moyer recognized that the goal of Michael Mitchell's sit-in was to build a better city for everyone, to create a better community. Today, in honoring Congressman Mitchell's contribution, we also honor that spirit, that quintessential Annapolis spirit of unlikely alliances, of standing up, of showing up, of doing the right thing, even when it's hard. Mitchell was a trailblazer. He ensured Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday became a national holiday. He ensured at its founding that the Congressional Black Caucus could bring politicians together to use their power to change local perceptions, to change the regional conversation, and then to use that power to change national policy. Sometimes we need reminding that the call to fight for equality is up to us. The national fight for justice is rooted in local action, and that is why it is fitting that the Parren J. Memorial is situated in our hometown, in Maryland's state capital city of Annapolis. Thank you all for being here today. Let's carry on Parren Mitchell's legacy of action forward, and let's all do it together. Thank you for being here.
We have a number of distinguished elected officials with us, both past and present, and we call on Carl Henson Jr. to recognize our elected officials. Sir?
The Governor Moore and the First Lady, and all of our honored guests here, and especially to the Mitchell family. If I tell you how long we've known each other, you would know my age, and I don't think I need to let you know what that is at this time. God bless you, and thank you so much for coming. First of all, we'd like to acknowledge members of the City Council of Annapolis, Carmen O'Neill, Brooks Schenemeyer, Harry Hunley, and Rhonda Pendell Charles. Please hold your applause until I finish. Also, county elected officials are Councilman member Lisa Radovian and Circuit Court Clerk Scott Poirier, and also Allison Pinkard. Also rounding off the event this evening, federal elected officials are Terrence Taylor in for Steny Hoyer, Daniel Akawara for Sarah Elfrich, and Senator Chris Van Hollen is represented by Ashima Taylor. Please give them a round of applause and thank you and God bless you.
With those elected officials and former elected officials, please stand. I see we have Alderman Kenny Kirby in the audience as well. Elected officials and former elected officials, please stand to be acknowledged. Please, quickly. Yes, sir. You will. Just a moment. Just a moment. If you're from Baltimore City, please stand. Anybody here from Baltimore City, please stand. Baltimoreans, please stand. Baltimoreans, please stand. On behalf of Annapolitans, we want to thank you for loaning us Parren Mitchell. If it was not for Baltimoreans who voted in numbers, Parren Mitchell would not have become a congressman. And I will be ever, ever grateful, eternally grateful, for Baltimoreans did in sending Parren Mitchell here. We're going to have greetings from a few of our officials, starting with our First Lady, who's on the program, just to say hello. Would you welcome to the podium the First Lady of the state of Maryland, Dawn Moore.
When Paul Snowden tells you to do something, you must listen and do it. I just want to say I'm so grateful to be here with my husband. I thank each and every one of you for this opportunity to celebrate a great man. When my husband and I lived in Baltimore before we moved to this storied home here in Annapolis, we lived not too far from one of the Mitchell homes in Guilford. And I would go visit Kiefer's mother. And I would eat her food and listen to her stories. And she showed me the print in the cement of how you all played with LBJ's children. And so I thank you for the power that you have set forth in this country, in this state. And I'm honored to be here with each and every one of you to honor a very great man. Thank you so much.
Legacies are often defined by impact. What's been an impact of somebody? When Parren Mitchell was running for public office and had gotten elected, there was only 12 members of the Congressional Black Caucus. When Parren Mitchell got elected, the Legislative Black Caucus was 13 members. But since the election of Parren Mitchell, who's been able to show us what's possible, here in Annapolis, history was made when we elected for the first time an African-American woman to represent us in the Maryland General Assembly. She was recently appointed by Governor Moore to replace the senator who went to Congress. It's my pleasure to bring our senator, Shanika Henson, to the podium.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the committee and the city for having the vision to honor the legacy of Parren J. Mitchell. If you learn anything from being in the presence of Carl Snowden, you learn that every time you speak the name of your ancestors, you keep their memory and their legacy alive. When you say their names again and again. Yes. I was watching a program on George Washington, and the lecturer said that because George Washington was the first president, that whenever you are the first of your kind, everything that you do has added significance. And that is true for Parren J. Mitchell. Everything that he did was precedent setting. The way that he engaged his constituents, the way that he was Black Marylanders' congressman, the way that no matter where you lived, if you saw yourself reflected in him, you took your problems, your hopes, your dreams, you took them to his doorstep, to his office, and you found the support and the resources that you needed reflected in his leadership. So I am so very proud that this is housed in District 30 here in Annapolis. We will be a safe and protective guardian of this statue, and we are honored to unveil it today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.
In the event someone's asking the question of all the elected officials, how was it decided which ones would speak? Answer was short. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee sent out an appeal to every elected official in the state of Maryland to help with the memorial. The ones who are speaking are the ones who responded. Our next speaker shares something in common with the congressman. He too served in a war. He too served in the United States Army, and he too made history. He became one of the first African Americans elected to the House of delegates from Anne Arundel County representing District 32. Please welcome to the podium the Honorable Mike Rogers.
Good afternoon. Let's try it again. Good afternoon. So to the Mitchell family, Governor, Mrs. Moore, all my fellow elected officials, and I'm gonna use an Army term, all protocol reserved. So that means everybody else, thank you for being here. Many of us know some of the history of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. Some of you may be aware that he served as a commissioned officer in combat in World War II. How many people know that? Raise your hand. Okay, a few folks. Okay, that's good. How many knew that he was wounded in Italy and received the Purple Heart? Okay, a few more, not bad. How many of you knew that he did this before matriculating at Morgan State University? Couple more. This is our history lesson for today. So as a Marine and Army veteran who served in the Army in combat, I can say concepts like duty, honor, selfless service, and not leaving anyone behind often inform the way you lead and serve. And it's clear to me that Congressman Mitchell epitomized these things throughout his continued public service and in life, and helps to explain why we're here today to honor his legacy. Thank you.
Being a native Annapolitan, I know history. I've made it a point to know it. And there's an institution here in Annapolis. It's the Banneker Douglas Tubman Museum. And I will never forget a former county executive who said that that particular building, the old Mount Moriah AME Church, should be demolished in order for a parking lot for employees. And he was so determined, he said that if they don't tear it down, I'll get in a bulldozer and do it myself. He said he'd be willing to go to jail. That's how strongly he felt this building ought to be demolished. Well, he went to jail, but the building is still here. God is good. Welcome to the podium, if you will, the executive director of that wonderful commission, the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, my sister, Maya Davis. Come forward.
Thank you so much, Carl. Traditionally, when I've had to do these types of events, I'm usually introducing the governor and the first lady, and now I have to go after this. I'm so nervous. Good afternoon, everyone. What a magnificent day. Despite the rain, it is such a magnificent day to gather in honor of a true Maryland giant, Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. On behalf of the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, I want to first acknowledge our Governor and First Lady, Wes and Dawn Moore. I also want to acknowledge Senator Shanika Henson. And the chair of our Black Caucus, Janelle Wilkins. And also Delegate Mike Rogers. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my friend, my mentor, my colleague, Carl Snowden, who is presiding on the Caucus of African American Leaders whose tireless dedication made this moment possible. Call your leadership embodies the same spirit of advocacy that Congressman Mitchell championed throughout his life. To Mayor Gavin Buckley and his exceptional staff, Thank you for your partnership and commitment to ensuring that this memorial finds its rightful home in our beautiful city of Annapolis. Your support demonstrates that honoring our history is indeed a shared responsibility. To the Mitchell family, we are profoundly grateful for your presence here today and for sharing your beloved patriarch with all of Maryland. His legacy lives on through each and every one of you. As we unveil this memorial, funded entirely through the generosity of private donors who raised $100,000, and I believe just a little bit over, Cole, if I'm correct. We're not just dedicating a monument. We're affirming our commitment to remembering the pioneers who opened doors that many thought would remain closed forever. Congressman Mitchell wasn't just Maryland's first African-American member of Congress, he was a barrier breaker, a bridge builder, and a beacon of hope. He understood that true leadership means lifting others as you climb, and his work in Congress created pathways for countless others to follow. Today, as we stand on the shoulders of his achievements, we recommit ourselves to ensuring that the stories of leaders like Parren J. Mitchell are preserved, celebrated, and shared with future generations. This memorial will serve as a daily reminder that one person's courage can change the course of history. Thank you all for being here to honor a man who truly made Maryland and America better. Thank you.
Delegate Wilkins has arrived, and she is the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. Please come and give us a few words. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Delegate Janelle Wilkins, chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, the largest Black caucus in the country. And a caucus who knows very well and very deeply how much we stand on the shoulders of the work and the legacy and the profile and courage of Congressman Parren Mitchell. He is someone, and not every elected leader will have this opportunity, but he is someone who his name and his legacy and his impact truly is etched in the work of everything that we continue to do here in the state of Maryland, and I can say in the work of the Black Caucus. Whether it's his mentorship of members that I served with like Talmadge Branch and current members like Senator Benson, who is here. He brought in members and made sure that he was mentoring the next generation of Black leadership here in our state. And those same members are those who have mentored me and so many others to be leaders here in our state and continue to build on the work that he led. Congressman Mitchell is the architecture, the creator of the 8A program, the federal 8A program that created set-asides for disadvantaged businesses and Black businesses. Even when that program was under attack in the last couple of years, guess what? He built that strong foundation. That program has survived, and we're able to expand a similar program here in our state. That's legacy. So when I say that he is the architect, whether it is the mentorship in helping to spur so many other leaders in our state, whether it is the fact that the programs that he created live on here in our community and that we are expounding upon now. Congressman Parren Mitchell did so much that even in his death, that his legacy still lives on, and that our Maryland Black Caucus will continue to make sure that his legacy and his work and his leadership lives on in all of the work that we do. So we are grateful to be invited here today to speak, to also recognize our former member, Kiefer Mitchell, who is also part of that legacy. And I stand here today not only as the chair of the Black Caucus, but as the next generation that Congressman Mitchell helped to spur, to lead, to have courage, to make impact in our state. So we're grateful to be a part of this dedication. And thank you so much, everyone, for making sure that we continue to say his name and live up to his legacy and the profile and courage of our amazing congressman. Thank you.
I want to quickly acknowledge members of the Board of Directors of the Martin Luther King Jr. Committee. Please stand. These are the men and women who helped make this happen. Would board members from the King Committee please stand? Let's give them a round of applause. And lastly, I'd like to recognize members of the Caucus of African American Leaders. Caucus of African American Leaders, please stand. Caucus of African American Leaders, please stand. The Caucus of African American Leaders meet quarterly with a number of elected officials, including Governor Westmore. We've been doing this since the governor came into office and since our next speaker came into office. We've had a partnership with County Executive Stuart Pittman that have produced some incredible results in our county. Please welcome to the podium the Honorable Stuart Pittman.
It's a good day in Anne Arundel County. It's raining, but we started out this morning at the Annapolis Senior Center with Senator Also Brooks. Who is fighting the good fight in Washington, doing an amazing job for us. And today we have our Governor Wes Moore and Dawn Moore here in the house. I would say welcome to Anne Arundel County, but you live here. They're our neighbors. And I'm just really, really, really happy and proud that we have people in this county who continue to work to tell history. The Caucus of African American Leaders and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Committee just keep on producing. The caucus has trained me to be a pretty good county executive. I hope you would agree. They push me, they pull me, they get me there, and I learn a whole lot. But when Carl said that they were going to be doing this monument for Parren Mitchell, and he told me the date and how much money they were going to have to raise to do it, I didn't believe him that he'd get it done in time. But they did, the caucus and the committee. They got it done, and as a result of that, young people in our county are going to be able to learn about Congressman Mitchell, read about Congressman Mitchell, and I think about him in the historical context of the time that he lived. I'm looking at his family now, many of whom I've gotten to know at the Parren Mitchell dinners that we hold in our county every year. But the time that he worked, it was exactly almost the years that my father lived. Both of them fought in World War II. The war that my father always described as the war against intolerance. But then I look at their careers and I look at the challenges that Congressman Mitchell had to face that my father did not have to face. He got some good things done in his life, and I have a huge amount of respect for my father, but a lot of it was because of who he knew, who he was connected to, and those relationships. And Congressman Mitchell, the reason that so many people are out here honoring him today and that we're going to have a memorial to him in our county is that he not only got incredible things done to make this a better country, but he had to fight every step of the way to do it. So in this time, with this administration in Washington and all the challenges before us, installing this monument is an act of resistance, and we will continue to resist, and we will continue to remember. So thank you all.
Anne Arundel County, Maryland, has only produced three African Americans who've ever served on Anne Arundel County Council. One of those three is here with us, which is Darrell Jones. Darrell, wherever you are, please stand. I want to especially recognize Darrell Jones. And the second is the person who's going to be speaking to you. He was the one that succeeded Darrell Jones. Please welcome to the podium the Honorable Pete Smith.
He's not bringing me back up here to sing again. I found out this morning that I was going to do that. I do want to say a quick comment to my colleague, Lisa Ravian. She was one of the electeds that was missed this morning, but I want to give a shout out to her because she's definitely been a stalwart in the council over the 6 years she's been here. So Lisa, thank you for being here as well. To the Mitchell family, thank you all. Kiefer, Lisa, all you folks. We have had some many conversations in the past, and I'm just so grateful for pouring into us, pouring into me. I mentioned to Darrell that I've been trying to get over his house for a couple of weeks now, a couple of months, but mainly because of the inspiration that you all have done in this county and been here every single year when we host the event that celebrates your family member. And to the governor and his beautiful wife, thank you all for being who you are, being the examples that Black couples and Black men should strive to be. I'm certainly one of those individuals, and I look up to you all, and I'm just grateful we've bonded in the past, and just keep doing what you're doing and fighting the fight because we'll be there with you. So thank you for doing all of that. Yes, please. I will be very, very brief, but I wanted to leave you all with one sort of nugget that I think is so important about Congressman Mitchell. What you all may not know is he has a very humble beginning. And I think Lisa will probably tell you this, that, they were poor. They were dirt poor. And I think in one of your videos, she even mentioned that they were the alley Mitchells because of the rag clothing that they had or the food and everything else that they strove to get. And what I'm so proud of that family for is it doesn't matter where he started from. This guy and his family literally ate from neighbors because he didn't have a lot of resources. Some of you all know what it's like to beg for food or stand in a food line to get resources to feed your children and your kids. You know what it's like. They grew up in that environment, and yet you have a family that has been a lighthouse to many Americans over the last 50 years, and they have shined that light in such a way that it inspires others to be just as bright. And I'm so grateful. Please, yes, give them a round of applause. I know what that struggle was when my mom, who was 19 with 5 kids, before she turned 20, had 5 kids, and literally we had to go to public assistance to eat food. And so to see this brand, this Mitchell family, rise up out of the ashes, rise up out of the dirt, and become a symbol of what America should look like, that is something we should be trying to replicate in every single jurisdiction here in the state of Maryland. And I'm grateful that we have a governor that's going to champion those issues to make sure that all kids, Black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter who you are. If you grew up in poverty, you will have an opportunity to exist and to excel in this country. And so thank you all for being a part of this process. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate you.
History in the making. It's amazing. For those of you in the room, I will say something to you. Please, take the time to write your book. Those of you who are fortunate enough to get elected to public office, leave something for another generation. The man who's next to going to speak, in the wildest dreams of this county, if someone had told a little boy growing up at 6 years old that you could become the sheriff of Anne Arundel County, they wouldn't have believed it. But because of many people in this room and because of the legacy of Parren J. Mitchell, please welcome to the podium the first African American to serve as sheriff of Anne Arundel County.
Let me first say, it is a true pleasure to be here speaking to you today. And my grandmother raised her children not too far from here. So it's truly an honor. Growing up as a child, it's like bliss. You you have nothing but good things happen in your life. You don't know if you're poor. You don't know if your family's struggling. You don't know the ills of society. You're just happy. And what you also don't know is the struggle. When Congressman Mitchell started in Congress, I was in elementary school. I did not know of the struggle. I did not know of the sit-ins. I did not know of the disparities between races. I lived in bliss. But as you get older, you begin to understand. You begin to learn about Parren Mitchell. You understand that for Dr. King to be where he was, there had to be people in the fight behind him, standing with him, getting arrested in the sit-ins. I am not here because of my own efforts. I am here because Parren Mitchell took that first step and said, Dr. King provided us with an opportunity. He provided us with an opportunity to be the first. And he decided to become the first African-American congressman from this area, from this state. We owe that to him. I stand on his shoulders. And he may be saying right now, will people get off my shoulders? Get on your own. Because of him, I am the 121st sheriff of Anne Arundel County. The sheriff's office was created in the year 1650, and I'm the first African-American sheriff. We have many firsts here today, and let me just say this. I am so proud to be able to call our first African-American governor my true friend. And this is a Carl Snowden event, so I'm going to end it here. But thank you all, and God bless everyone.
One of the things that happened to me personally was when I became a grandfather, I thought I'd be looking at the good old days, looking back and remembering those good old days. But increasingly, I've been more concerned about the future. What will the world look like with my grandchildren and others like him? And there's this man that every time I see him, I tell him I love him. And I tell him that because I understand the role he's playing. He will affect the lives of children for generations yet to come. I am so proud of Mark Bedell, our superintendent of the Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Proud of him because his story tells us what's possible. Please welcome to the podium, Dr. Mark Bedell, superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Snowden. I'm a tall man and this thing keeps going down. So I'm gonna hold this up and try to get through my remarks. I wanna start off by, first of all, extending and just saying a good afternoon to each and every single one of you who are here today to honor a true icon of our state and our nation. I also want people to know, I am not an elected official, right? I am a superintendent of the 37th largest school district and one of the fastest growing school districts in the United States. I was hired by an elected board, and one of those board members here today is Joanna Tobin. And to the Mitchell family, I want you all to hope that what I get ready to say here in my remarks really resonate with you all around what we're doing in this school district. She and I talked about 40 minutes a day. And we talked about the fact that we believe we are ahead of where I thought we would even be at the end of 3 years of tenure in this school district, and it's something for us to be very proud of. I've never had the pleasure of meeting Parren Mitchell. He began his historic service in the United States Congress before I was even born. And I was a 12-year-old middle school student in Rochester, New York, when he completed his final term. But here's what I know. Before I could even walk, he was doing everything he could to open doors of opportunity for kids like me. He wanted to give voice to the often voiceless and hope to the sometimes hopeless. He was on a quest to help establish a sense of belonging for everyone, no matter who you were and how you showed up. That is his legacy. And that is exactly what our school district is trying to do for our students today. We've gotten rid of the gatekeeper model on who gets access to advanced placement courses and dual credit and IB. We've gotten rid of it. And I'm proud to tell you that those significant increases are because of multiracial, African American and Hispanic students who are now taking these courses, and generally you have a regression in your scores when you get more access. That's not happening in Anne Arundel. Our scores have gone up 2 consecutive years. That tells me that we have kids walking around with the aptitude to take on these rigorous courses, but they weren't being given an opportunity because of how they show up. Those days are over with, Mitchell family in Anne Arundel County. And before I finish, it's important for me to tell you, every 9th, 10th, 11th grader, they all are required to take the pre-SAT in this school district. There will be no tracking of students in Anne Arundel County. Now, there are people who will question why a memorial like this is important. For me, that one is easy. It provides us with a tangible and visible way to honor not just the person, but the critical importance of a person's work. Belong, grow, succeed may be the logo you see everywhere in our school system, but it was the walk of Congressman Mitchell undertook and the way that he lived every day. To the students who are here today, I ask you to remember this. There are people in your midst today who are opening doors of opportunity for you, just like the people Parren Mitchell did for them. Your obligation is to do the same for those who come after you, whether you ever meet them or not. That is a true way to honor a man like Parren Mitchell, because that is how we carry forward the work he did. Thank you.
What you're going to hear in a moment is a poem that was always read by Parren Mitchell just prior to him closing his remarks. It's being read by William Ralph. Will, quickly.
I've only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give an account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the memorial will look like when you go outside. Please be seated. I know the governor's on a very tight time schedule, and I want to do this very quickly. We raised $100,000 in 4 months because of many of you in the room and the many donors. Maurice Tozay couldn't be with us. He was a major donor, as was Carol Henson, Don Quinn, Majette Parker, Louis Bracey, some of the men and women, Juanita Cage, Lewis, and I don't want to forget Claudia Barber, who gave that $1,000. But as we're about to introduce the speaker, please bear with me just for a moment. Imagine, if you will, that it's not like it is today, raining, but it's one of those sweltering hot days. Imagine, if you will, two little men, two little boys running, doing what little boys do, just having a good time. And these two little boys run, and they get hot, and they get sweaty, and they decide they need to cool off. And so they find a tree. And under that tree, there's shade. And at the top of the tree are two birds looking at these two little boys. And as the two little boys find comfort, they leave. And the little bird says to the other bird, do you wonder, do they know who planted that tree? Who was the person that planted the tree that allowed for those little boys to get comfort? So often we go through life taking advantage of all of the opportunities that have been given to us. But so few people pause to thank those who made it possible. Every time I think of our governor, I think of something that most people probably don't even give consideration to. I'm a student of history. My mother lived to be 103 years old. And I keep telling this story till the day I die. Nobody knows the pain that she suffered. She represented an age, she represented a generation. Parren Mitchell, if he had lived today, would have been 103 years old. Parren felt deeply the pain of his people. I remember Parren Mitchell so well. His legacy is found in some of the speakers we just heard. Yes, we can applaud. Yes, we can be happy that they've achieved those positions. But there's something with Parren Mitchell that I marvel and enjoy, and it's so real. There are 3 men in this room who was incarcerated, who wrote a letter to Parren Mitchell while they were in jail. Leslie Vass, a guy named Michael Postaway, some of you know, and a guy named Walter Lomax, wrote a letter to the congressman, and he responded. Wasn't any votes there. They couldn't vote. I remember Parren. He was always concerned about not the next election, but the next generation. Would all young people please stand for a moment? Anybody under the age of 18, just stand for a moment if you're in here. I've got a grandson, Fame. Just stand, if you will. As I bring on our next speaker, God, in my humble opinion, puts men and women in positions to either do good or to do evil. I've lived long enough to see both. I know what it's like to have somebody in public office who's only concerned about their own personal interests. I've seen it. People who want to do aggrandizement. People who want an entourage. They want to be many celebrities. That was not Parren Mitchell. Every time I think of Parren, the leadership that he left, how much he walked Pennsylvania Avenue when others would drive by. I knew Parren. Elizabeth Robinson is in the room today. She will tell you when there was a rent strike here in Annapolis in the 70s. Parren Mitchell couldn't get a single vote in Annapolis, but he heard the cry of his people. And there's one thing I will always take to my grave, was something Parren told me, something I have attempted to emulate. Carl, he said, your life will be determined by what you do for others. There will be people who will come and go. You will forget their names. But nobody ever forgets that person who made the difference in people's lives. It's not by accident these many people have turned out on a rainy day in memory of Parren Mitchell. It's not by happenstance or coincidence. But I also believe this deeply and firmly. God has selected for his purpose the next speaker, a man who's already, while in public office, did the unprecedented thing of giving 175,000 people pardons. And for those of you who've never had trouble with law enforcement, it may not mean much to you, but it helped change people's lives. I've seen our speaker, who's about to speak to you, understood the symbolic reasons why you left from the city dock in Annapolis, where Kunta Kinte was bought as an enslaved man, and walked to the State House. I knew the symbolism. 20 years from now, when those little boys and girls in this audience, they too will come and sit under the tree, and they will find the comfort of that tree. And it's my hope, my desire, that one of those little boys will look and say to the other little boy, had it not been for Governor Westmore, the opportunities we enjoy today, we would not have had. Please join me in bringing to the podium the Honorable Westmore.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, please. Thank you. Carl Snowden. 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 I remember one of the first conversations that I had with our leader, Mr. Snowden, was about this. One of the first conversations that we had was when he talked about a moment in time when we have to make sure that we are celebrating those who paved the way for all of us. To hear from Carl Snowden about how his focus is making sure that we remember the legacy and, yes, the name of Parren Mitchell, I knew from that moment, this is the person I admired for years. I was thankful this man just gave me an audience. And the fact that he spent his time talking about how we have to make sure that we honor the legacy of Parren Mitchell, I want to be very, very clear that we are honoring today this great man in many ways because of the work of this great man. And we are thankful for you. And this truly is a celebration of why Parren Mitchell mattered to each and every one of us, because what you see here is you see an entire mosaic of our state and celebration. Today is not just a great day for Anne Arundel County. Today is a great day for the state of Maryland and a great day for the United States of America. And I'd say too, Mr. Mayor and Mr. County Executive, it's as always wonderful to be here with you. And a true honor always to be your constituents, both of y'all. But I also say that I really am honored to be here with so many other colleagues and friends too. I want to give a special shout to the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, Janelle Wilkins. And all the members of the General Assembly here. But I also want to say too, one of the, I've had some very, very proud moments in my life. One was when our First Lady said yes. I was pretty proud that day that I was able to bag someone like her. Who was not just my best friend, but has truly been my life salvation. And I thank God for you. But also, speaking of our partners inside the work, I have to say, a very, very proud moment that I have had as being the governor of the state of Maryland was when I had the honor of signing the paperwork to make Shanika Henson a senator in the Maryland General Assembly. Truly. Truly. This is a celebration of a remarkable coalition, and our county officials. Pete, God bless you. Thank you for everything you continue to do. For all of our members, not just up here who you've heard from in the dais, all friends and amazing human beings of the clergy, of the business community, of the nonprofit community, everybody here who is able to celebrate the fact that we are all on very broad shoulders right now. And I specifically, also, and by the way, I'd be remiss, I want to give a special shout to Cleveland Horton and Chanel Compton, both from the Commission of Civil Rights and the Commission of African American History and Culture. True public servants who make sure that our history is remembered. And as I was thinking about today, I immediately thought about my friend Kiefer Mitchell. And what y'all don't know is, I used to run every Sunday in Baltimore down to Kiefer's juice shop. Kiefer had a juice stand under the JFX in Baltimore. Y'all in Baltimore know what I'm talking about with the JFX. And I used to run there every Sunday morning to go get some of the best juice you would ever find. And Kiefer thought I was running there to get the juice. I mean, the juice was great. But I don't know if Kiefer ever really fully appreciated how much it meant to me to be there with somebody who didn't just do a remarkable job and every single day continues to preserve a wonderful legacy, but somebody who I had a chance to feel like I knew Parren Mitchell because I knew you. I had a chance to feel like I was in the presence of Congressman Mitchell because I had the honor of becoming friends with your family and everything you all have meant to us. And one thing I always thought about, which I think I actually had it wrong in that way, where I used to look at Kiefer and the members of the family and say, wow, how amazing it is to come from such a wonderful legacy and to be such wonderful descendants of a man who did so much for all of us. But I actually think I got it wrong. Because while I think that is true, the beauty of this room is we're all part of his legacy. We're all descendants. We're all people who have benefited from the power that he provided, from the shade that we now have the chance to enjoy. The fact that every single one of us know, had it not been for him and his work, that we would not be here. And I want to be very, very clear. I am not the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland, had it not been for Congressman Parren Mitchell. Because he believed in us. He believed in us. And he fought for us. And even if he did not know us, he fought for the hope of us. That one day that he knew that he would have the opportunity to look down and smile. and know that he paved a beautiful pathway for all of us. A place where we know that in any space that we are in, we are there because that space was already paid for. A space that every single place we are in, that we know we are there because we belong. That every single room that we walk into, we are not there because of someone's benevolence. We are not there because of someone's kindness. We are not there because of someone's social experiment. We are not there because someone wanted to sprinkle diversity into the room. We are there because that room will be incomplete until we showed up, and that room is now finally complete because of the work that happened before we even got there. And if there's one thing that we know is that, yes, we talk about how he was a first, and being a first is fine, and that's great. But let's be clear, that's not the assignment. Being the first is never the assignment. Doing something while you're there is. And if there's one thing that Parren Mitchell was, this man was a soldier. He understood the fight. He understood it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be simple. If there's one thing that his life taught him, if there's one thing that all of our lives have taught us, is that if it comes easy, it is usually never worth it. The only things that are worth it were hard. They were tough. And he showed that and demonstrated that throughout his entire life. That he was always willing to take on the hard fights. He was always willing to take the arrows if necessary. Because he knew the measure of impatience that was required and necessary. It should not be lost on anybody. Why Parren Mitchell always talked about, "I have only just a minute," by Dr. Benjamin Mays. I have only just a minute. Because he knew that our time here, it's ephemeral. Our time here is temporary. Your legacy is not. What you did with your time here, that's what lives on. I have just only a minute. And I think about the work that this room has done. I think about the work that collectively we've been able to do over just these past 2.5 years. Chair Wilkins, you said it right. This is all because we have the wind to our backs that Parren Mitchell's helping to provide. The fact that just during this time that we've been able to get things like expungement reform, procurement reform, like our leader, Dr. Snowden, said, having the largest mass pardon in the history of the United States of America, making historic investments in our HBCUs, over $1.3 billion towards our HBCUs, over 60% increase from the time we started off. Over 1,600 new Black homeowners, making it easier for first-time homeowners to be able to get the capital that they need, historic low unemployment among the Black community. This doesn't happen by accident. It's because we have a foundation we built upon. I have just but a minute. That's why this matters. Any type of work, any type of momentum, any type of increase, it happens because we have the wind to our backs. It's not easy, but it's necessary. I'm so thankful for this man who had the hope of us, who had the hope of this moment, and who understood the urgency of the moment. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute but eternity is in it. God bless you. God bless Congressman Parren Mitchell. God bless the Mitchell family. God bless his legacy. And God bless this amazing state. God bless y'all and thank you so much. I am absolutely honored to be able to have the ability to present to the family this governor's citation, which reads, to the family of Congressman Parren Mitchell, be it known that on behalf of the citizens of this state, in recognition of the life and legacy of Congressman Parren Mitchell, the first African-American elected to Congress to represent the great state of Maryland, and the first African-American elected to Congress post-Reconstruction by a state south of the Mason-Dixon line. By the way, this is not in here, but let me just say, it's amazing that people somehow forget that Maryland is the northernmost southern state in the country. Learn our history. I digress. We are pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation, signed by Secretary of State Susan Lee, Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller, and thanks to so many of you in this room and Congressman Parren Mitchell, the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland, Wes Moore. God bless you and thank you so much.
The governor, people that want to use the governor's personation. You got that? Is this the one? Is this the one? Senator Van Dyne. Yeah. I'll make them decide. Wait, where did they go? No, that's. Want me to get anybody else? See if you see Chief Johnson. Chief Johnson. Chief Johnson. Did he make it? I don't know.
We now have a presentation from Senator Van Hollen's office as we move very quickly.
Thank you, Carl. I guess someone's got to follow the governor. I'm today's sacrificial lamb. I'm Ashamet Alvar, Senator Chris Van Hollen's state director. The senator really regrets that he couldn't be here today, but he has a congressional citation that he wanted me to present on his behalf. This citation is presented in memory of the Honorable Parren J. Mitchell on the occasion of the memorial dedication in his honor. In recognition of this enduring tribute to commemorate the life and legacy of a trailblazer and statesman who tirelessly advocated for justice, equity, and opportunity for Marylanders, with appreciation for his historic election as the first African American to represent Maryland in the United States Congress, with admiration for his remarkable work as a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus, and with gratitude for all he did to touch the lives of countless individuals. Signed, Chris Van Hollen, United States Senator, on this day.
And Lisa, would you come forward real quickly? Lisa, please. Quickly, please.
And good afternoon. I'm Lisa Rodby, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Anne Arundel County Council. And my colleague Pete Smith and I are pleased to present another citation to the Mitchell family. Usually we do this in the opposite order, so the local folks go first, and then the governor goes last. But we're last today, I guess. So I'll take it. So. There's two Lisas. The Anne Arundel County Council honors Congressman Mitchell for his lifelong dedication to making America better, not bitter, and commends Congressman Mitchell for his fierce fight against racism. The County Council joins the community and his family in the remembrance of the Congressman and the legacy he has created. The Congressman earned the trust of people throughout the country and world because he was constantly building bridges for others to cross, while tearing down the walls that had excluded them. The County Council thanks Congressman Mitchell for his many contributions, and we're pleased to give this honor to his family today, signed by the entire Anne Arundel County, May 28th, 2025. Thank you very much.
The hour's going a little longer than we had anticipated. I know the governor has some time constraints. We've got two other speakers. I asked them to be brief as we move forward with this before we close. But let me say this really quickly of the next speaker. Those of you who have not had this opportunity that I have with Joanne Benson, I want Joanne to know, Senator Benson, if you will, there are names of people who've come and gone. Some of you will not know. A man named Benny Fair, one man named Alfred Barrett, people I worked with. When I first met Senator Joanne Benson, Jesse Jackson was running for president of the United States. There was no black county executive in Prince George's County. There was no black state's attorney in Prince George's County. I remember this voice who stood with Parren Mitchell and who talked about the need for African-American representation. Please join me in welcome to the podium a true leader, Senator Joanne Benson.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I won't speak long. About an hour and a half, is that okay? In the early 60s, I met this man, Parren P.J. Mitchell. And we developed a friendship. And I went to visit with him in Congress. But he was not the kind of person that just worked in Congress. He traveled not only in Baltimore, but he traveled all over the state of Maryland. In 1978, I invited him to come with me to Hagerstown to give a speech for the NAACP dinner. he showed up. And when he finished talking about racism and bigotry and what we needed to do to work together, I said when the speech was over, well, Parren, I think we're going to jail. Because he acted up in there, which was typical of Parren P.J. Mitchell. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said. He was a wonderful, wonderful role model for me personally. I want everybody in this room to know this. We are in this bag together. Fannie Lou Hamer, we're in this bag together. And if Parren P.J. Mitchell was here, that's exactly what he would say. We have a lot to do, and we cannot place the responsibility on anybody else. It's up to each of us in this room to make up our mind that we're going to make a difference so that the future generations will be so much better than what we found when we got here. When I see the Mitchell family, Michael, wonderful friend of Tommy Broadwater, my great friend that I love so much, and I miss him. I think about him. I think about Juanita. Lord have mercy. Those of you who know, Juanita Mitchell was Clarence Mitchell's wife. She was an attorney. And when we had issues in Prince George's County, we would call Juanita, and she would say, come on over at 9 o'clock. I said, well, I'm going to call Parren to tell him that we're coming. He said, well, come on over, but be prepared to wait. So I said, well, only a few minutes. We got there, about 5 or 6 of us. I said, what time? She said, 9 o'clock. We got there 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Coming down the steps was Juanita Mitchell. We stayed there until 2 o'clock in the morning, hammering out what was going on, not only in Prince George's County, but in the state of Maryland. How could we make it better for future generations? That's what our sole responsibility was. It was not about politics. It was about raising the bar, giving hope to our children. And that's what Parren P.J. Mitchell was all about. He was concerned about the least of these. And that is why I give such homage. And I want to tell you all, I want to tell the Mitchell family, when I walked in here, I am a Baptist. Usually when you walk in the church and there's something at the front door that tells you to shout, you start shouting at the front door. Those of you who are Baptists, you all know what I mean. But I said, no, Joanne, you go and have a seat. But the Mitchell family, it wasn't just Parren P.J. Mitchell. He had a strong, strong family. And his family is still strong and committed. I want to commend the governor. I want to commend every single soul who had anything to do with this unveiling. It is so appropriate. It is so needed. I've been waiting for this moment where we let's give credit where credit is due. The words and the actions of Parren P.J. Mitchell cannot be described. I was with Parren P.J. Mitchell on so many occasions. We would go to Calvert County. That's where his top advisor was. And we would go there for picnics every year. It was just wonderful. We just had a wonderful, wonderful friendship. There were things he and I talked about. We went to the Democratic Convention. Lord have mercy. I thought we were going to go to jail then. I said, listen, Parren, we're too far from home. It's no time for us to carry on. My mother and father are not going to come and get me out of jail. No. But we were able to make it back home. Uh-oh. I think that means something. I thank y'all for coming this afternoon. You could be doing something else, but you're here. God bless you.
Lastly, to bring brief remarks, will be Daryl Jones and Lisa, who will be representing the family. Please bear with us just a couple more minutes before we close. Quickly, please, quickly. So we can all do it in one move. It's all done.
Thank you, Carl. You know, God has a way. God has a way. I was a student at the University of Maryland, College Park. And at that time, we had problems with South Africa, with apartheid. And so I had the opportunity to restart the NAACP at the University of Maryland in College Park. We then took on the university for its divestiture, demanding that it divest from South Africa. The university was resistant. We formed shanty towns. We got together with the Black Student Union as well as the African Student Union. We marched on the administration. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we knew we were on the side of right. Little would I know, boy, does God have a way. We would have a reception sometime later, and this gentleman would come up, and I knew nothing really about federal politics and all that other stuff, but the gentleman came up and said his name was Congressman Parren Mitchell. And we talked, and he said, I encourage you, young man, to stay in this fight. I encourage you, young man, to remember to do what is right for the people and to fight for the people. God just has a way. And then sometime later, 2006, here in my home county, Anne Arundel County, if you look at the program, it says I'm a former Anne Arundel County councilman. I might be former, but I'm also former. But in 2006, I had the opportunity to run and to become the first African-American male elected to the Anne Arundel County Council. God has a way. You know, we formed the West County Democratic Club that had not existed. There was no Democratic club in the state of Maryland that really focused on African Americans. We decided to change that. We then put together a dinner that we called the Parren J. Mitchell Dinner and Salute, Maryland's Parren J. Mitchell Dinner and Salute. And in putting that together, I had the opportunity, and of course, you know, my friend Carl Snowden's always right with me on everything. He said, you need the blessings of the family. So I called Senator Mitchell, who I had never met. I said, you know, Senator, I don't know how to ask you, but we want to do this dinner in honor of Congressman Mitchell. And we talked for a while. He said, well, let's get together and meet. So we met, and he had, Lisa, just loads of information with regards to Congressman Mitchell. But the bottom line was the Mitchell family said yes. And for the last 7 years, we've been doing the Parren J. Mitchell Dinner and Salute on Fort Meade's base. I tell you, God just has a way. And so when we had the opportunity earlier, a year or so ago, to talk about this Parren J. Mitchell Memorial, we ran into a lot of headwinds, people that were negative, telling us we couldn't do it. We had the opportunity to go and sit in with Maryland's new governor, Governor Moore. Within 30 seconds, Carl could barely get it out of his mouth before Governor Moore was saying, yes, 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 I'm with you. God just has a way. And we're here today with this unveiling, with the Mitchell family and the unveiling of the memorial for Congressman Parren J. Mitchell, remembering that it's about community, it's about people, it's about service. But we're so glad that God has a way, and that way has had this day today to have the unveiling of this memorial. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. I'm going to be very, very brief. As one of the great nieces, I think I'm the oldest great niece of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. Thank you, Governor, First Lady, Mayor, all of the elected officials. I want to in particular thank
all of the community that came here today, the Caucus of African Americans, we can't say Carl Snowden's name enough, on behalf of all of our family, we thank you, Caucus of African Americans, the Martin Luther King Jr. Committee, all of the volunteers and people that supported this effort. And I have to say, you know, Congressman Mitchell, PJ, Uncle Parren, the proudest moment for him was the MBE legislation. And that was one of the first executive orders that this governor issued when he came into office. He is our governor's, our Parren J. Mitchell's wildest dream, that we would be able to legislate that. And I also want to say the Minority Business Enterprise Legal Defense and Education Fund. He founded our Justice Department to protect the legislation. And all of the members who are continuing that organization, I see the legacy of Parren Mitchell in this room. My grandmother said our children and our grandchildren are our claim on eternity. Uncle Parren didn't have any children. We are his children. We are his legacy. I see leaders of a beautiful struggle out there today. I see Black Lives Matter out here today. This is the legacy of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell. He was absolutely radical. One of God's angry men, he said, who would not be angry in how we have to live in America? And so I thank you on behalf of our family, our elder, Senator Michael Bowen Mitchell, the historian, the patriarch of our family, and all of our cousins, great nieces, and the extended family of Parren J. Mitchell. I see Delegate Talmadge Branch over there. I mean, Parren, PJ, we would say this, his heart was as big as all outdoors. He never said no. And this exemplifies the work and the legacy he left us to carry on. I thank you so much.
Let me quickly, immediately following this, there's a reception. You're welcome to attend. It's upstairs. I want to acknowledge Rosalind Johnson, the director here, who gave us a marvelous welcome. Lakeisha Simmons, thank you. Rodney is not here, but Rodney did a fantastic job as well. In fact, all of the Annapolis staff did a great job, including the Annapolis Police Chief. Would you please stand, and let's thank the police department. Now, for anybody who's been to a caucus meeting, you know what's coming. We always end this caucus meeting this way. Those of you Baltimoreans may find it a little difficult, Brother Lawrence, but this is what we do. We understood what Parren Mitchell understood. We understood what Dr. King understood. Dr. King said there were two basic things that he wanted American people to understand. One, he said, when the American people join hands, we make a difference. Look at history. Women got the right to vote in 1920 because people of goodwill joined hands. Martin Luther King's birthday became a national holiday because people of goodwill joined hands. Nelson Mandela walked out of a prison into the presidency in South Africa because people of goodwill joined hands. Throughout history, whenever people of goodwill in America join hands, we make a difference. But there was something else Dr. King said. 20 plus years later, we have not been able to listen, understand, and internalize. Here's what Dr. King said. Dr. King said that no matter what problems we have in the world, and there are many, if we just learn to love one another, we can make a difference for our children and grandchildren. So wherever you are, please look at your neighbor in the left, to your left or your right. Look them deeply in the eyes. The eyes are the windows to someone's soul. When you look somebody in the eye, you are watching their very soul. When you look in that person's eye, male or female, doesn't make any difference. Look that person directly in the eye and just simply say, I love you. Now, there's somebody who pays attention.
Ann Cotelitis, you did not look Rhonda in the eye and say, I love you. Now let me just say one more thing so we wind this up, because I know something. People have heard this many times, but it's true. When I was 14 years old, Sheila, a girl, told me, I love you, and the next day she was with somebody else. I understand what love is. That love is that thing you can feel. If you don't get that tingle, that person ain't loving you. So look him or her one more time, deeply in the eyes, deeply in the eyes. Look him in the eyes and say, I love you. The next voice you will be hearing is the man of great love, Apostle. Please come and give us the benediction. Karen, would you come up really quickly? Karen, for Historic Annapolis, real quick. Karen, please, quickly. There she is. Quickly, quickly, quickly. She's going to give a special gift to the state senator. When it was referenced earlier, there was a young man who got arrested for protesting and desegregating Annapolis. It was our great state senator. We have the photograph of the arrest, of him being arrested. God is good 24 years later. Would you pass it to him? Yes.
Parren, Friday, I went in to get a hamburger in the oldest St. Church, at which point the oldest called the Annapolis Police Department, and I was beaten and lost my hearing. But you know what? Dr. King said, unearned suffering means rejected. And this is the promise of America. The near the city of Annapolis, the man we're in the morning building, I was given the Annapolis City Jail when a young white male, Tip Moyer, came and said that this was wrong to hold us all in the city jail and released us forthwith. Unfortunately, he didn't win re-election. He was a man of principle, so it's fitting that Parren Mitchell's memorial be here at the Tip Moyer building. While we bring Satan's cause making the game, but there's a God above and the power and the power of it. And if you're right, you'll fight our battle, and Trump will be gone.
Please prepare yourself for the benediction, please. The benediction.
And we're also going to ask everyone if you would remain at your seat as we are able to escort the governor out. Thank you very much. Shall we bow our heads? Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for the life and legacy of Congressman Parren J. Mitchell, a trailblazer, a servant leader, and a champion for justice. As we depart from this sacred moment of remembrance, may we carry forward his courage, his conviction, and his compassion. May the seeds he planted continue to bear fruit in our communities. And may we be inspired to walk boldly in the path he helped us pave. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Peace that empowers, peace that perseveres, and peace that prevails. We ask this in the name that's above every name, in the name of our Lord and our Savior. To him be glory, world without end. Amen and amen. God bless you.